again. I have no doubt, the fairy godmother said. I've actually come to congratulate you. We've just heard the news that your fairy tales are being published in other countries. The other fairies and I couldn't be happier. You've been very successful in helping us spread the tales of our world. We're very grateful. I'm the grateful one, Hans said. When you found me as a young man at that terrible school in Elsinore, I was ready to give up writing for good. The stories you gave me to craft as my own inspired me as much as the children they were intended for. I wouldn't have found my way back to storytelling if it weren't for you. You give us too much credit, she said. You knew exactly how to adapt our stories for the current times by adding elements of religion. Otherwise, the societies of today may not have embraced them. The Ugly Duckling, the Snow Queen, the Little Mermaid, and the other tales would have been forgotten, but you've immortalized them. Speaking of, how are things in the fairy tale world? Hans asked. Very well, the fairy godmother said. We've entered quite the golden age. My darling Cinderella married Prince Chance of the Charming Kingdom. Princess Sleeping Beauty was finally awoken from the awful sleeping curse. Snow White replaced her evil stepmother as queen of the Northern Kingdom. Not since the dragons went extinct has there been such cause for celebration. But, my dear, I asked you the same question almost a decade ago, and that was your exact answer then, Hans said. Even as a child, I was being told the same stories. The fairy tale world must be frozen in time. If only, she said with a laugh. This world moves so much faster than ours, but one day, I'm confident the worlds will move as one. I don't know how or why. I just have faith they will. They enjoyed the soothing sights and sounds of the promenade. An elderly couple leisurely strolled close to the water. A small dog chased seagulls twice its size. A father and his sons flew a kite in the field nearby, while the mother cradled their newborn daughter. The boys giggled as the breeze blew the kite higher and higher into the air. Hans, the fairy godmother said, can you remember what made you happy when you were a young boy? It didn't take him long to remember. Places like this promenade, he said. Why? She asked. It's a place of unlimited possibility, he said. At any moment, anyone or anything could appear. A parade could march through the field, a flock of birds from a tropical land could fly across the skies, or a king from a distant country could sail through the waters on a massive ship. I suppose any child is happiest wherever his imagination is stimulated. Interesting, she said. Hans could tell from the look in her eyes that something was weighing heavily on her mind, and if her question was any indication, it was about a child. Forgive me, Hans said. I've known you for so long. I'm embarrassed to ask, but do you have children? I do, she said, and smiled at the thought. I have 2 sons. Both are the spitting image of my late husband. John is the oldest. He's a very happy and adventurous child. He's constantly making new friends and finding new places to explore. Everyone is very fond of him back home. The fairy godmother went quiet after talking about her older son. And your other son? Hans asked. As if she had suddenly sprung an emotional leak, all the happiness drained from the fairy godmother's face. Her smile faded, and she looked down at her hands. His name's Lloyd. He's a few years younger than John, and very different. I see, Hans said. It was obviously a very sore topic. You must forgive me, she said with a long sigh. I can't hide the frustration anymore. My life's work is about providing people with keys to happiness, but no matter what I do, I can't seem to unlock my son's. He's having a difficult time, I take it. Hans didn't mean to pry, but he had never seen the fairy godmother become so visibly helpless. Yes, although I don't think it's a phase, she said. Once she started on the subject, it was hard to stop, but Hans was eager to hear about it. He put a comforting hand on her shoulder, and the floodgates opened. This may be an awful thing to say about my own child, but when my husband died, I think something broke inside of Lloyd, the fairy godmother confessed. It's as if his ability to be happy died with my husband. I haven't seen him smile since he was a baby. He likes to be alone and hates socializing. He barely speaks, and when he does, it's never more than a word or so. He couldn't be more different from John. He just seems so miserable, and I'm afraid it may last forever. A single tear rolled down the fairy godmother's face. She retrieved a handkerchief from the pocket of her robes and dabbed her eyes. There must be something he enjoys, Hans said. Does he have any